Hi there, I'm Denise Renee Green, and I want to welcome you to this masterclass. Worker Bee to Queen Bee, 5 steps to end overwhelm. Build true confidence and presence so you get the promotion, pay raise, respect, and fulfillment you want. Your time is really valuable, so why don't we just jump in and talk about who this is for. This is for any talented and ambitious female leader who feels overwhelmed, anxious, and perhaps stuck in your current job position. You likely work in corporate, high-tech, finance, consulting, energy, defense, or perhaps you're a leader in healthcare or education administration. Or maybe you own your own company with staff to manage and develop. Whether you've been overlooked and passed over for years or just recently feel like you've hit a plateau. Whether you want a promotion or you got the promotion and are suffering from crippling self-doubt. If you want to stop feeling stressed out, exhausted, anxious, and start feeling like a confident influencer, this training is for you. In our time together, here is what we're going to cover. How to work less and become viewed as the invaluable go-to expert who is the obvious candidate for promotion and pay raise. And it doesn't really matter how much expertise you have. How to end self-doubt and achieve towering, authentic confidence no matter what happened in your past or what's happening now, so you walk into the executive presentation with ease and influence. And this does not require therapy. How to handle any difficult conversation, whether it's giving feedback, negotiating a salary, giving a presentation to the board of directors, how to do it with ease and skill so you win every time. And how to decline requests with grace and gravitas so you improve your reputation and results and get time back. I'm going to show you how to finally turn off your constantly thinking brain without resorting to medication so you get vital peace, presence, and sleep. And how to achieve the career success you want without pursuing additional time-sucking credentials so you have more time and money for yourself. And how to break through bias and change your reputation from worker bee to queen bee, no matter how long you've been dumped on. And how to enjoy work-free weekends and still feel prepared and confident for the big presentation on Monday. And I highly encourage you to stay to the absolute end because I share one last story that you're going to want to hear. I realize that your time is precious and valuable, and I know that if you're watching this, you are probably very busy and find it hard to carve out time for your own self-development. So know that I am obsessed with making the most of my time and your time. So I mean it when I say that these minutes could extend your life, improve your health, and make you more money in your career while you enjoy your career more. And if you're like me, it can be annoying to not have the power to pause and rewind and fast forward. So we have sent a link to an instant watch version of this, and it might be in your spam folder. You can go to that version now by clicking the button right below this slide. It's up to you. Stay and watch now or jump to the other version so you can have some flexibility and then watch every minute of this today so you can start putting this into practice tomorrow. So here is my promise to you, a step-by-step strategy to end overwhelm, build towering confidence, and fast-track your career. This is a success strategy that is not conceptual but real. It has been tested, proven to work for over a decade for any female leader who is ready to change. But first, before we get into it, let me check in with you to see where you are. Does this sound like you? Do you feel anxious before important meetings or presentations, or even before sending emails to senior leaders? Do you feel like your brain is constantly on, maybe even at 3 a.m. in the morning? Do you feel like you're drowning under the weight of the demands on you? Do you find it hard to be present and patient with the people you care about the most? Do you feel angry or resentful or frustrated as you watch other less deserving people succeed while you stay in place even though you're working your butt off? Do you have a painful story echoing in your mind that says something like, "I'm not good enough," or "I haven't achieved enough"? Do you feel like work frustrations are getting in the way of your sleep, health, personal relationships, and happiness? Do you secretly worry that you'll always feel this way and regret that you didn't make the most of your life? If any of that sounds like you, then I have good news, really, because none of these are the real problem. They're just the symptoms. The real problem is that you haven't made the shifts, and we're going to talk about what those are in just a second, but for now, know this. Once you make them, you'll jump out of bed, energized, ready to take on the day, knowing that you're going to rock it. You will feel lighter, like a weight's been lifted off your chest, or your back, or your throat, or your gut. And you'll be offered positions and promotions that you thought might never happen. And you will stop over-preparing for important meetings and make a better impression than you ever have. You will be truly relaxed and influential with your colleagues, direct reports, and loved ones. And you'll walk into any boardroom or Zoom with total confidence and ease, and you will have the full respect of top leaders. No more telling yourself you should have said this, you should have said that. You will be more productive than ever before, while working fewer hours than ever before. And you'll ask for what you want and get it. And they'll like giving it to you. And your friends and family will wonder what has gotten into you, and they will pray it continues. Once you make these shifts, you will do all of this with more joy, ease, confidence, and fulfillment than you have ever felt in your life. We are about to jump into the shifts, and before we do that, I just want to explain a little bit about who I am so you understand why and how I'm able to achieve these results. So I grew up in the Midwest, and then I started right after graduation moving out west, and I landed a great job in the Silicon Valley. Despite having a French degree, I was able to add a lot of value because of how I used these shifts and the beliefs that I had. So I had a great career there, many promotions, and then I left in 2008 and founded my own company. I'm a best-selling author, a transformational executive coach, and I specialize in influence, stress reduction, neuroleadership, and brain-based habit change so that these changes are not only massive, but they are permanent. And I've been doing this for a long time. As I record this, I am in my 50s, and I've helped a lot of people on 5 different continents, and my partnership with Simon Sinek has helped me go global in the past few years. I coach everybody, but I am women-focused because women have different challenges, and they have been raised to believe different things. And I'm very proud to be considered a last-stop coach, meaning that therapists, coaches, life coaches, executive coaches often send me their most challenging situations, not because these people are any different than anybody else. It's just because this challenge is not easy for most coaches to fix, and therapy won't do it. And I'm also so proud and so grateful to be a mom of an amazing human. And you can see by these logos below that this is real. We have been featured in a lot of different publications, including these. And let's talk more now about the actual shifts and how I discovered them. I did not have a typical start to my career. When I was 22, a senior in college, I was on my way to work when I was in a 6-car collision and I broke my back. Up until that time, I had been a high-achieving, hardworking, stressed out, straight-A student who went to college on a full-ride academic scholarship. I worked a job to pay my living expenses, and I took my health for granted. I was on a path to burnout, and I didn't even know it. But in 1 second, everything changed in that accident. Before that moment, I took everything for granted. And now I felt like I went from a healthy 22-year-old to an 82-year-old. I felt crippled, but I had to work. I had to find another way to be successful. And believe me, it wasn't immediate that I figured this out. I was depressed for a couple of years, and I was in tremendous pain. But I was able to get a good job, and I had to do things very differently than my able-bodied colleagues. Not only did it work, I was able to add huge value. I was able to get multiple promotions and raises quickly. while working sometimes half as many hours as my peers who were working 70, 80 hours. Now keep in mind, my injuries were invisible to others, so I wasn't getting any sympathy cards. People started asking for my advice. They wanted to know how I could roll in later than everyone and leave earlier and still get more done. So I eventually became an executive coach, and I developed a very powerful and simple process that incorporates all I've learned about studying brain science as it applies to leadership, confidence, and influence. And when my clients go through the process, they make powerful, lasting changes quickly. People told me that I can't keep this to myself, and so I am now sharing this recipe with you in this presentation and in as many ways as I can. But the bottom line is this. There are 5 key shifts you have to make in order to accelerate your career while enjoying more confidence, success, and ease and fulfillment than you have ever felt. And I'm going to walk you through all 5, but please know these are not theory. Any truly successful and fulfilled person has made them all. They help you break through bias in a male-dominated environment and add huge value, even if you're new to the job or working fewer hours than everyone else. I want you to learn them now, the easy way, without having to have a health catastrophe, without burning out and quitting. All 5 shifts are critical, so stick with me, and I will include a link at the end of this presentation in case you want to discuss how to quickly apply these in your life. Shift number 1. Reclaim control. The most successful, influential, and happy people understand the science of control. They know you cannot control circumstances. You can't control the weather. You can't control flight delays. You can't control a car cutting you off in traffic. You cannot control other people. You can't control your boss. You can't control your kids. You can't control your spouse, your friends, your family. You can only control yourself, and that is hard enough. But you can, with practice, control your own thoughts, emotions, actions, and words. And the people who can do that in any situation have a true superpower. They can learn to become powerful influencers who get people to say, do, and give them what they want and enjoy doing it. And they do it in ways where you actually improve your reputation and results while getting you what you want. Whether it's your kid doing their homework, your spouse helping around the house, your boss giving you the promotion you've wanted and tried for years, if you do not learn this, you will feel weak, frustrated, angry, and out of control. And once you do learn this, you realize a powerful truth. The problem isn't what you thought it was. Your boss isn't the problem. Your colleagues aren't the problem. Your workload isn't the problem. That white guy who got the promotion is not the problem. You are your problem. Specifically, your inability to control your state, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and influence others to happily, willingly do what you want, that is your problem. And because most people lack this ability to control themselves and influence others, they try other self-sabotaging ways to get their way. See if you recognize any of these common self-sabotaging strategies. Perfectionism, trying to get everything right so you don't piss anyone off and you don't make any mistakes. You will never see these behaviors in the animal kingdom. It's only humans that do these things that make us weak and ineffective, but it's how we've been taught. The second one is procrastination, which is putting off the thing you know you need to do because you don't feel like doing it. People-pleasing, which is saying yes to people when you need to say no. Poor prioritization, which is saying yes to things that aren't what you know you need to be doing. And I'm going to call this one pouting just to keep alignment with my P's. What I mean by pouting is worrying, hoping, wishing, waiting, shoulding. What I mean by shoulding is anytime you find yourself saying the word should in the context of what you want other people to do. My boss should give me a promotion because I've earned it. My boss should give me a raise. My colleague shouldn't throw me under the bus. Just notice any time you say that, you are wishing that reality was different than it is. And we don't have a magic wand. We cannot change reality. So when you should, you create resentment in yourself that makes you sick. These coping mechanisms harm you by stealing time. You're going to waste hours every day and spend tons of energy that has no value. You are going to literally drain your power and become more ineffective. This last one also steals your mental health, your emotional health, and fills you up with heavy emotions like resentment, anger, stress, and you'll get toxic cortisol, creating inflammation in your body. It's just biology. When you waste your energy on things outside your span of control, you lose the ability to become calm, confident, influential, and you become weak, sick, and heavy. So just check in with your body right now. Where is the heaviness in your body? Usually, with people that I work with, it's in their heart, their chest, or their gut, or their head, or their back. But just check in. Where is yours? And what do you think has been causing it? These are not easy to shift, but you're going to learn a couple more shifts that are going to help you learn how to make this one much more easily. If anyone deserved to feel resentful and overwhelmed, it was this amazing and beautiful woman. Evangeline was working in the South in a white-dominated industry and a white male-dominated company. She was a director. She's brilliant. She was doing the vice president's job because the VP quit, and the CEO gave her his job with no additional pay or title. So naturally, she was resentful and she was overwhelmed. She knew how to do her job brilliantly, but she did not yet know how to regain control. Her team, as a result, was overwhelmed and burning out. They were all stressed. If a leader is stressed, then you know that cascades down. She was snapping at her husband and her daughter, whom she loved dearly, but it was not pretty in the household. Her mind was constantly on. She had a brilliant mind, and it was constantly going, trying to work this through and figure out how she could fix this. She was numbing out to quiet her brain, and she was using wine and TV to do it, staying up too late, not getting enough sleep, not being able to go back to sleep because of the stress, and she just couldn't take it any longer. So she called me, and her husband, who was very concerned about her, also was on the call with me. Evangeline and I decided to work together, but only because she was willing to take full control over herself. I don't have a magic wand. I couldn't change her boss. I couldn't change her boss's boss. But if she was willing to change herself, we could make this happen. So she did learn how to drop her resentment and become calm and confident. In one conversation, she was able to break through bias with her CFO. He said it was the most strategic and productive conversation he'd had at work, and that she needed to have the same conversation with the CEO, which she did. Within 2 weeks, she was now invited to C-level only conferences and meetings. She cut 20 hours per week from her work week because she took control of her self-sabotaging habits. Her team became productive and engaged for the first time in years because she was the leader she always knew she could be. She got the promotion. She got the promotion to vice president, and she is on track now to meet her goal of becoming a CFO before 40. But the best part is that she's happy. She has peace of mind, she's sleeping, and she has a wonderful family life now. When I asked her how was it going at home with her husband, she said the only problem now is that we might make more babies. Now she knows how to control that situation, so this is a good problem to have. Let's look at the next shift. Shift number 2, step into radical curiosity. This is the antidote to anxiety and career stagnation. This is perhaps one of the most powerful, most under-leveraged skill of them all, and it's not hard to do. It's like a superpower that anyone can harness, but almost nobody does. It's really easy to notice who doesn't have radical curiosity, and it's most people. They are self-focused, and it makes them nervous, anxious, afraid, and they self-sabotage. When you don't have radical curiosity, you waste hours over-preparing, scripting. You lose your nights, you lose your weekends, and you show up weak and unimpressive, even though you did more preparation than the other guy. And you prove that you're a worker bee, but not a queen bee, worthy of promotion, not someone who is strategic, who is a partner that executives want to have back. But with radical curiosity, you're going to show up differently. You're going to show up confident, at ease, curious, unflappable. You're going to impress and add value and become a vital partner to senior executives. They're going to want you back, and they're going to make a reason to have you back, like getting promoted, regardless of how long you've been stuck. And you're going to stop overthinking and become relaxed and present. You will get your nights and weekends back. And you'll get your health back. You'll be able to sleep at night. I want you to meet Katya. Katya is brilliant, but she also was filled with crippling self-doubt. She was an immigrant from Europe. She had a strong accent, and she had a story that she wasn't good enough. She went from an executive admin with a small team to a leader of 250 people because she is amazing. But she didn't feel amazing, and this put her over the edge with stress. She had to give bi-weekly presentations to executives, and unfortunately, it was during cost-cutting measures, and so everything she was delivering to them was about things they were getting taken away from them. So she was very nervous about these presentations. She over-prepared, she worked nights, she worked weekends, and her mind was constantly trying to figure out what she would say, and she was scripting. She showed up, accordingly, very weak and nervous. She had very low confidence, and she would stumble on her words. Her health took a dive because of all the stress and the inflammation caused by the stress. She would have panic attacks, and unfortunately she had one on the highway driving to work. She had an accident. She lost her license, but she almost lost her life. She also had high blood pressure and autoimmune disorder, probably triggered by stress, and she was on medical leave. She's also a single mom, and she was terrified what would happen if she did not fix this. Katya had a radical change, and it was because that she was coachable. She was skeptical, but she trusted me that if she was coachable, she could learn this. She didn't realize she was going to learn it so quickly. She cut 35 hours from her work week. She went from working 80 hours to 45, and she became truly calm, and she had gravitas. People respected her. They appreciated her. This is who she really is. Her blood pressure was normal. She's driving again, and she has no fears of having a panic attack because she is enjoying life. She's doing so well at her job, and she's so calm and confident and has so much capacity that they gave her another organization to manage. She is having fun. Instead of being stressed out by the responsibility, she's just asking questions and making a huge impact. And every part of her life is fulfilled now. She's exercising, traveling, taking classes, enjoying her daughter. Her only regret was that she wasted so much time in this pain. She didn't have the recipe to fix this. And this is not something common that people are taught. It is counterintuitive, but it is a must-do if you want to enjoy your life and enjoy more success with more ease. Let's talk about shift number 3. Use the belief upgrade system. This third shift is the secret weapon that almost no one is taught and nobody realizes they need. And it is so powerful because it changes you from the inside out. Before I get into it, let's look at the old way people used to try and fix this. The old way to overcome self-doubt and get career success looks like this. Maybe you listen to podcasts, you read self-help books, you do affirmations, you go to therapy, you journal, you work harder, longer, take on more projects, try and get more visibility with the right leaders. This is not a sustainable method to get the kind of results you're looking for. All of these things are just going to give you more information. At your core, you're still going to be the same person who is stuck right now. You might change, but it won't stick. You'll get temporary results at best and stay stuck. But you might be even more guilty and frustrated that you haven't created the changes you want because of everything you've been trying. The problem is not your ability to change. The problem is these strategies. They don't work. They don't solve this problem. You can learn a lot of skills. You can get more degrees. But if you don't learn the belief upgrade system, nothing's going to stick. You'll try to put the new information into the same old brain. It's like putting a new iPhone app in an old BlackBerry. So let's look at the new, better, and faster way. So the new and improved way to overcome self-doubt and fast-track your career is just to use the belief upgrade system. And then feel yourself transform quickly from the inside out. And then watch as you finally step up as your best self. So you work less, feel better, sleep better, become calm and influential, and get the pay raises and promotions you've been waiting for without having to fake anything, because this is who you are from the inside out. Here's the thing that most people don't get right about confidence. They think it's like a muscle you build, but it's not. Confidence, ease, presence, gravitas, it's the absence of the mental trash that's weighing you down. It's the peeling away of the crap you've been collecting your whole life. So the moment you shift it and upgrade these beliefs at the root is the moment you become truly powerful and can position yourself for promotions and pay raises that you may have waited for a long time. Which brings me to what people get wrong about career success. They think it's all about working hard and doing good work, and then praying someone will notice and reward you. But that's not what happens in real life. We see it over and over. You can resent this fact, or you can accept it. Make this shift so you are the one who gets rewarded with less effort and less stress. And this tool is the reason why people get massive results quickly without lengthy therapy or training. So let's talk about how you can use it to get the help you want. You're here with me today because you want different results and you want to feel different. But you need to understand that results don't just happen magically. Being underpaid, overworked, anxious, exhausted, passed over for promotion didn't magically happen overnight. It started with a belief. And maybe it was a belief like, I'm not good enough. Or, I cannot afford to make a mistake because I'm already fighting against bias. Or even, if I work harder than others, I'll get promoted. That belief, whatever your core belief is, and everybody's is different, but whatever your core belief is creates emotions. Any belief creates emotions in you that cause you to take or not take actions. So in the case of, I'm not good enough, or I can't afford to make a mistake, we've got emotions like fear, worry, maybe shame, guilt that I'm not farther along. And that causes us to take actions like working on weekends, working late, scripting, trying to get everything perfect. And that gets us our results. So over time, it creates the situation that you're in now. But when you learn the belief upgrade system, and when you do this with a skilled partner, you will immediately feel like a different person. Because this is not fake. This is real. Your brain is absorbing this and taking on a new identity. And this person will take smart risks, show up as her best self, and easily stand out in the best possible way. You will no longer be seen as a workhorse because you will be acting in a different way, like a valuable strategic leader. Now, I know it is not easy to replace harmful beliefs and change your identity. And that is because we're up against this. Fear. Your tribal brain is wired to keep you safe. It is not wired to help you feel good and reach your potential. So to keep you safe, your brain fills it with fear. Now, I like to think that there are 3 kinds of fear, and they all suck. The first one I call FOPO, fear of pissing someone off. The next one I call FOMO, which is status fear, the fear of not measuring up or not being good enough. And then there's FOCA, change fear, the fear of changing anything, even if you have something really bad that could be replaced with something really better, a better habit, your brain doesn't want you to do it. So fear causes us to create beliefs that keep us small and in the tribe, a belief like, I cannot make a mistake. And it feels like these thoughts, these beliefs are locked in, but they can be changed. You can change your identity from the inside out and become the real you, the most powerful you, and the you that your soul wants you to be, not the you your brain has created to be small and play it safe. Let me introduce you to 3 women who did this work and changed their identity so they could change their results. So first was Karen. She worked in the highly white male-dominated defense industry, and she defined herself as a workaholic. Now, all of these women told me that they were taught to be good girls, work hard, get advanced degrees, and do as they were told. They could even trace these lessons back to something an adult told them as early as the age of 5. They had PhDs, CPAs, MBAs, but it wasn't enough to counter fear-based beliefs. So Karen, in the defense industry, self-described workaholic. When she came to me, one of her beliefs was, I have to have all the right answers. Now keep in mind, her audience, her customers, were PhD physicists. So having all the right answers, just imagine. When she upgraded that to something she truly believed, she was able to easily drop 30 hours. For the first time in her life, she was not a workaholic. And she went from worker bee to respected influencer. It was the opposite of what she worried about all these years. She got off blood pressure medication because guess what? When you save 30 hours and you get off stress, get off that hamster wheel of stress, your inflammation goes down. And one day she missed a coaching call and I texted her to make sure everything was okay. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm getting on a plane to Cancun. It was her first vacation since getting married 3 years ago. Then there was Latoya, self-described yes woman. She said, I, Denise, cannot offend a single white person or I am ruining my career and ruining it for every other black person. Wow. She upgraded that with the belief upgrade system. She went from 90 hours to 45 hours. Went from sleeping 3.5 hours to 6.5 hours waking up rested. Her inflammation markers, which doctors said were cancer level, went down to normal. And for the first time in over a decade, she's spending quality time with her family and found a job where she was wanted and paid what she was worth. Linda, fractional CFO, faking presence. She had been faking sitting on the couch with her husband and paying attention to him and the movie for years because she had a core belief that she could not say no to her CEO clients or they would fire her. She changed the belief and started delegating and empowering and communicating boundaries to people easily. She was present, calm, and fulfilled. And yes, she was happy that she had more time for her family, but her favorite thing was just that she could actually snuggle with her husband without faking it. We've just got 2 more shifts, so let's do a quick recap. First, you must reclaim your power, or you will waste precious energy, damage your health, and never get the peace and success you want. You have to shift into radical curiosity, or you will overwork, fail to impress, and never be seen as someone worthy of a promotion. And you have to use the belief upgrade system to change at the deepest level so you feel truly calm, confident, and influential. So you stand out in the best possible way with the people who make or break your career, and you are not faking confidence ever again. Which brings me to shift number 4. Embrace strategic laziness. So let's talk about overwhelm for a minute. We are in an epidemic of overwhelm and burnout. There are simply more demands every day than are possible for you to meet. And acting like you must meet them or you can meet them will make your life miserable and literally shorten your life. The World Health Organization did a massive study with the International Labor Board, and they showed that working more than 55 hours a week led to early death. Now, I know it seems logical that if you want to get ahead in your career, you have to work harder than everyone else and say yes. But all that will teach people is that you're a workhorse. The only thing you get rewarded for is more work and exhaustion and burnout. But this isn't just about working less. Strategic laziness not only cures overwhelm and prevents burnout, it boosts your confidence, improves your output, improves your reputation, and gets your career unstuck and soaring because you will stand apart from the herd. And there's actually nothing lazy about it, but you will just feel so different from what you're doing now. Instead of healthy boundaries, people are trying to fit more and more into their days, and they are more and more distracted. But truly successful people who actually have time for life and energy to spare for their families, they know it's a myth. So let's look at what they do instead to get ahead while working less, even if they're facing bias. When your energy is low, your confidence is going to be low because you know that you are not going to show up as your best self. Just think about this. We don't have to teach animals in the wild to optimize their energy. They know that if they don't rest, they can't hunt and they will starve. But humans seem to think that they have a limitless energy unless they're an athlete, and then they use their energy smartly and they are confident when the starting gun goes off. So the most effective people are productive instead of busy. Instead of hamsters running on a wheel, they are mindful and make sure that every action they take improves their presence and reputation and is mindful, and they are getting more done than people who are working more hours. They swap perfectionism for what I call minimum effective doing. There is nothing lazy about this. I like this acronym MED because in medicine, minimum effective dosing is the right amount of medicine without giving too much to cure the symptoms. So it takes only a few drops sometimes to put somebody into overwhelm and poison them. And that's what people are doing with perfectionism. They are poisoning themselves with overdoing. The really, truly effective people say no without saying the word no, but it's very clear, and they do it with grace, clarity, not guilt. This earns them massive respect and gets time back. And you know what? People also appreciate it because you set an example for them that shows where they can cut back on overdoing. And you stand apart as a queen bee, not a worker bee. And only queen bees get promoted. Worker bees burn out, make less money, and sometimes have to quit to go on medical leave. But that's not you if you embrace strategic laziness. Meet Mary. Like a lot of people, she had tried to fix this. She'd been working for 2 years with an executive coach. She still was overscheduled and overwhelmed. She was working at least 60 hours a week. She described herself as a people pleaser, a yes woman. She loved helping people, and she was good at it. She was incredibly good at solving problems. But still, she felt unappreciated. And sometimes that would show up in tears. She couldn't hold back the emotions, and it would come out in tears really inconveniently around senior executives. To make matters worse, one of her team members filed an HR complaint against her. She knew something had to change, and then it got even worse. When COVID hit, she now had all of that work, all of that stress, plus the stress of homeschooling. So remember, Mary had worked with a certified coach for 2 years, but immediately, when we did the belief upgrade system, she lost her desire to overcommit. She lost her desire to people please, to say yes. And as a result, she embraced minimum effective doing with ease. She gained 15 hours in each work week, and it just kept getting better and better. Instead of an HR issue, she became a top leader. Her team's employee survey ratings were the highest in the department, and they had high morale. She became an influencer. She went from worker bee to learning how to get what she wanted in such a way that people wanted to give it to her. So during COVID-19, when there was a hiring freeze, she was the only person in the department to get 2 additional staff. And the most important thing was she was happy. She became her true self, grounded, confident. Her intelligence came out. She was impressive, and then she was just happy. She sent me pictures while she would be on walks in the middle of the day, taking pictures of flowers and just being appreciative. She felt like she was 10 years younger and like she was a different person, but she was just really the person she has always been, except this time without the fear. Let's look at the 5th and final shift. Get expert help from a proven specialist. This is not a do-it-yourself project, and it's not for a generalist. If you have a problem with your nose, you're going to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Unless you're that guy who actually did a nose job using a YouTube video and a mirror. Anyways, I digress. If you have a problem with your foot, you're going to go to a podiatrist. But when it comes to your self-confidence, your career, overwhelm, many people get the wrong help or no help at all because they buy into a myth. They buy into the myth that I should be able to fix this. I'm smart. I'm talented. I have multiple degrees. But you weren't trained to fix this problem. In fact, you were probably trained to work hard, say yes, and you'd be rewarded, and your confidence would grow as you racked up the accomplishments. That's what your brain has been taught. But it's working against you because you have a fear-based brain that wants you to stay exactly the same. So maybe you do the power poses, you say affirmations, you high-five yourself in the mirror, you listen to podcasts about asking for a raise, you try to fake it till you become it, and then you wonder what's wrong with you. But this doesn't get better with time. No matter how much effort you put into it, it's like appendicitis. It doesn't get better with time. So think about the long-term cost of you missing out on one promotion to someone less talented. What's it going to cost you in salary, in retirement earnings, in the life you can provide, in your emotional state, your pride, your joy, your peace, and finally, most importantly, to your health. So you can stop wasting time now, and you can get expert help to make the shift so you stop suffering and stop wasting your precious and finite resources. Earlier in this presentation, I promised you a step-by-step strategy to end overwhelm, build towering confidence, and fast-track your career. I can help you have tremendous financial success in a job you love, But I don't think that's enough. It's not enough to be truly fulfilled. It might even deepen your problem because you feel the need to prove your worth once you get that success you've been looking for. I want you to get the success and enjoy it. And to be in that tiny percentage of the human population who really does have it all, you have to first reprogram your brain so you feel confident in that job and you work less but get more done and have more peace and free time to spend how you like it, even if that means sleeping. And you replace anxiety and worry with confidence, clarity, and joy. You laugh easily and often and make everyone in the room or Zoom feel and think better. And the way to get that life is to embrace the 5 shifts. Reclaim your power so you take back control of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your results. Tap into radical curiosity. Use the belief upgrade system. And leverage strategic laziness. And finally, get expert help from a proven specialist. These 5 shifts alone are enough to fast-track your career success. So now you have a choice. You can take the information I've given you today and you can forget about it. Or you can try and do it on your own, even though your brain is doing everything it can to keep you just the way you are. Or you can reach out and we can have a chat. And we can see if I can help you end this nightmare of anxiety, stress, worry, career stagnation. And I suspect that you are bombarded with messages, courses, and offers because there are literally tens of thousands of people out there coaching or calling themselves coaches. But this is why HR leaders, coaches, past clients recommend me when nothing else has worked. I don't just teach you strategies. I help you have a brain that allows you to feel truly enough so you can confidently use the strategies and never have to fake good again. So if you'd like to talk with me and see if I can help you, you can just use this link, go.oncehub.com/Denise Green. And you can find a time that works for you. And on that call, it's going to last about an hour. I'm going to ask you questions to learn about your specific challenge. And I'm going to find out what you've tried, how it worked or didn't work. And then I'm going to learn what your goals are. What title, salary do you want? What do you want your life to look and feel like instead of what it's looking like now? And importantly, what regret do you want to avoid? And if I'm absolutely certain that you're a perfect fit for what I do, then of course we can talk about how that process works. And you can ask me any questions and decide if you want my help. And if I'm not 100% certain that I can help you, I'm going to steer you in a better direction. I don't know if it's going to be a tool, a class, a different kind of coach, a job search coach, life coach. I don't know. But I do know that we're going to have a wonderful conversation and that you will have the clarity that you need to decide what is right for you now. So why am I doing this? Well, I do this because we need more women in leadership, and we need them to be healthy and have abundant capacity. And I'm tired of watching women earn too little and work too hard while others pass them by. And I'm really good at fixing this, and it brings me so much joy. And I'm tired of watching women sabotage their careers, relationships, and health because they were taught the wrong lessons growing up. And I know that this is nearly impossible to do on your own, so you might be ready for my help. And it really boils down to this. I want you and me and everyone else to avoid regret and die happy. Nothing less than that. And that's why I'm so grateful that I found a recipe that helps you make this change permanent. None of us knows when we're going to take our last breath. But you can know that you are living life to the fullest when you make this upgrade from worker bee to respected, joyful, confident queen bee. Like Jen, the woman I'm going to show you in this next video. This is Jen. She had tried to fix her problem for 10 years, and she calculated that over those 10 years, she spent 17,000 hours on a variety of things: books, podcasts, therapy, Tony Robbins, twice in Fiji. So she had spent so much time, so much effort, so much money trying to fix this, but it didn't happen. She did manage to get a promotion, but with it came crippling anxiety and imposter syndrome because she had never been able to fix the inner problem, the beliefs that were keeping her from being her best self and that were causing her to still have crippling self-doubt. She was about to quit her career because she was suffering too much, and it was going to cost her a lot of money. One day, after 3 years on my mail list, she saw an email, clicked a link, and booked a call with me. And here's what happened next. Her free strategy call, Jen and I properly diagnosed the problem, and we set up the strategy that would actually work this time. We met again, and we had the belief upgrade system conversation. We found and upgraded her particular specific core limiting belief. And the result? Her not enoughness, her shame, her imposter syndrome, her worry, it was all gone. And you could just see her body and her mind relax. As she smiled, she sighed, and she said, I cannot believe we just did in less than 30 minutes what I've been trying to do for the last 10 years. Now she could learn the techniques her brain would allow her to do, the techniques that she learned in this masterclass. She was able to reclaim control of her thoughts and emotions. She was able to use strategic laziness. No more people-pleasing, no more wasting time. She was just productive. And she learned radical curiosity. So she stopped wasting weekends preparing for difficult conversations with her leaders, and she started showing up in a way that actually made her look more effective, more respected, even though she was working less. And she got my expert help because even though she knew the strategies, she didn't want to overthink things. She didn't want to worry about difficult conversations, whether it was giving the boss bad news about expenses or revenues, or whether she had to give difficult conversation to a struggling direct report, or whether she had to ask her husband for help around the house. It didn't matter. She would fill out a template, send it to me, I would fix it, send it back to her, and she would know. She would know that the next day she was going to have that conversation and rock it. She missed no sleep and had no stress about all of these conversations that used to keep her up at night. And she became the best version of herself. And for her, it felt like it happened overnight. It was over the course of a few weeks, of course, but she became a better leader, a better mother, and a better wife. She was confident now and inspiring, and she was sleeping more and working much less. And yes, she ended up getting yet another promotion less than a year later. So of course Jen is going to make a lot more money, but to her, that was not the favorite part of this transformation. So let me just let her tell you.
I mean, if you are anyone like me, I would just highly recommend talking to you, Denise, just to see if this is a good fit, to be honest with you, because it has been the one thing over the 17,000 hours that I have done that has actually made a huge change in my life. So I get emotional, but I thank you because it has truly changed who I am and how I show up as a person. And you can't put a price tag on your peace of mind and your happiness and having the power to really affect that. So thank you.
Jen's results were amazing, but they were also predictable and typical. So if you want to fix this now and you want to talk with me, it would be my honor to have a conversation with you. And the one quality that will most determine your life, my quality of life, is your ability to make a decision and step into it. Instead of letting life happen, you make it happen. It doesn't matter if you've struggled a long time or if something recently triggered the situation. Know this, you were not made to suffer, and you don't have to. Now, you were created with a brain that has negativity bias and tilts more toward negative thoughts than positive thoughts. And over time, it gets even worse than 5 times as many negative thoughts to a positive thought. And then we start to sink under the weight of fear. But you don't have to. I am prepared to help any talented female professional who is ready to make this change. And if that's you, I am excited to connect. You could just click the button, fill out the form so I have a little information, and it will just help us speed up our conversation so we can get right to the meat of what's going on. And whether we talk live or not, please know I am in your corner, I am rooting for you, and I am sending you so much love. Thank you so much for your valuable time and attention, and I can't wait to hear your success stories.